Hey, are you looking for emotional healing though unsure of how to do it? I'm seeing a lot of people talking about feeling their emotions on social media at the moment. And this is great because this is something I want to share with you now about the process I've used for the last 12 years to heal myself emotionally and to move towards the life of my dreams. This is a practice that will help you to heal on all levels. It's something that can create freedom of expression, the attraction of life experiences that are wanted and desired. And it's also something that can help you to heal both the mind and the body and to live a more fulfilling life. It's something that will help you to move forward on all levels as well. It's something that can, as you change the inner world, you begin to change the outer world. I've been feeling through my emotions for 12 years now. And I went from being a drug addicted schizophrenic with like many kind of differing problems in my life to being now healing myself of mental illness and moving into the life of my dreams and publishing two books. I'm just about to release my first album, and I'm now getting into coaching and helping other people to heal themselves and move towards wholeness and fulfill their own potential. The reason I was mentally ill, I believe, is apart from the drugs and all the kind of trauma that I went through, I was also very emotionally repressed. Out of these 10 emotions, basically all 10 I was deeply repressed with. And that just caused just immense chaos in my life and in my mind as well. And it was kind of exacerbated by the drugs and by things that were happening at that time in my life. But at the core of it, it was because I had just repressed so much emotion, and it was just I was crazy basically. I was mad, and this this practice of emotional healing, it helped me to resolve and just heal myself on such a deep level, and and yeah, and now I'm here and I'm feeling and kind of creating the life that I want to live now, which is just amazing for me. I wanted to make this video as a guide for people to follow the same practice that I've been doing for the last 12 years, to use the same process I've used to heal myself, and to be able to create that inner health, that inner vibrancy and vitality and attraction of good life experiences and harmonious relationships and being able to fulfill your dreams. So what is it like healing emotionally? Well, for me, it was uh, deeply cathartic. I basically spent about 12 years just kind of laying in bed, and the bed is where I feel the most safe. So just laying in bed and just feeling through and getting really honest with myself about what I was feeling and how I could move into the life of my dreams. And emotional healing for me, it was deeply cathartic. It was like hours upon hours of being in deep catharsis, which was kind of exactly what I needed after everything I'd been through with my journey through mental illness. And there was also the challenge of it as well, was actually just facing those emotions and being courageous and allowing myself to feel and to feel as deeply as I could and just allow those emotions to come up and be expressed. And it was quite a journey for some time to get through all that emotion that I had repressed within myself. And there came periods of quite intense challenge for about a year, for me specifically, where I had very intense anxiety and kind of like panic attacks, I guess you'd call them. And that year was the most challenging out of the 12 years. But generally, throughout the whole process, it was deeply healing, and those long stretches of feeling catharsis and feeling like I was resolving very deeply held in emotional energy. And emotional healing will bring you more freedom of expression in who you are. It will release kind of setbacks in your setbacks that are within you, and as they appear in the outer world, you will resolve the inner world, and then the outer world will resolve as well. So there's a lot of good stuff that happens as you clear out and feel through and express a certain amount and degree of emotion. There's also the opening up of more creativity, more vitality, more beauty in your life. There's more, like, relationships are more vibrant and rewarding. And just life in general just gets a lot better when you have expressed a certain amount of repressed emotion. So, why should we heal emotionally? As I've just said, as you heal emotionally, you'll find that your entire life will open up for you. And it may take some time. It may take a certain amount of courage and honesty with yourself, and allowing yourself to feel your emotions and even indulge in your emotions, and to really give yourself that time to allow all the emotion to come up and out of you and to be expressed. And as you do that, you'll find that your life will become more full and whole. Your kind of your whole energy, as you're releasing energy in motion, you are moving to higher levels of vibration and higher levels of divinity, I'd say. And as you do this, you'll be drawing in and attracting towards you life experiences that you are wanting, and not those life experiences that are kind of bringing the emotion up to be healed. Emotion is stored in the body. When emotion is repressed, it causes physical and mental illness, and emotional healing leads towards mental and physical healing. Emotions are the realm of the body. As you live through life, you will be expressing emotion. And because in current society we've been told to repress and bottle up our feelings and not to express them, and to keep them to ourselves, we've created a state in which we are pushing down these emotions, and they are then stored in the body, and they don't go away until you feel through them and express them. Emotions are the realm of the body, though because the mind is in every cell of the body, the repression of emotional energy will affect the mind as well. So the mind is just an energy. It's kind of like the bridge between the soul and the body. So it's what makes your body move. It's the soul is literally able to move the body and control the body through the mind. So the mind is in every cell of the body, and as you repress emotion, you'll notice a dysfunctional quality in both the mind and the body. And this is very important for physical healing and also mental healing as well. When you repress emotions, it creates chaos in the mind and the body. And as you release layers of emotion, your mind will instantly integrate into new ways of thinking. Your body will also heal on a cellular level. The human body is about 60% water, And water is the element that's most open to sensation. And this is why the human body is so sensitive to touch. It's because of that openness to sensation, because the body is about 60% water. We're also 99% space. So the entire universe is 99% space. So our physical body is also 99% space. And and so the reason that we can feel so much denseness is because the emotion has been repressed, and we've literally lowered our vibration because of this emotion that's stored in the system. And as you express and release the emotion, the energy that you feel in your body will start to move to a higher level, and that's raising vibration basically. The law of attraction works with your emotional injuries. So that's something you might want to just keep in mind, that all the situations in your life that you're drawing to you are based on the emotions you have repressed in your system. And the law of attraction will bring up situations in life so that they can facilitate emotional expression. That's how the law of attraction works. So there's a lot of kind of talk of positive thinking and attaining good states of feeling. But what you'll want to do to actually fundamentally create the life you want is to release any repressed emotion that's in your body, and in that you will draw to you more positive life experiences. So that means that emotional healing is the very thing that will help you create the life that you want. It's not just about thinking positive is certainly a very important part of creating the life that you want, and using life to fulfill your purpose. But what you'll want to do is to look at that kind of base layer of who you are, and to look into yourself and to express the emotion that is drawing to you life experiences that are unwanted. So what this means is this emotional healing practice will be something that, as you heal and release emotional energy, you'll start to draw to you life experiences that are more positive. And this is because the law of attraction works with your emotional injuries. So if you have repressed emotion in your body and your mind, you will be drawing to you situations that are causing that emotion to be expressed. And if you're drawing to you those situations that allow that emotion to come up and be expressed, but you're not expressing it, you'll draw those same situations to you over and over again. That is the law of attraction. That is how it works. There's a level of the vibrational match of your mind and body to the external world, to the universe. And as the vibration within you draws to you life experiences, the release of the emotion that's stored in your body will draw you to you different life experiences that are wanted, life experiences that do not draw the emotion out of you to be expressed and to be healed. That is the basic of the law of attraction. In terms of vibration, the level of vibration that you're oscillating at is based on how much emotion you have repressed within you. Life experiences will come to you to bring up emotions to be expressed. That's the kind of easiest way to understand the law of attraction and the easiest way to work with it. If you're deeply repressed emotionally and you're trying to think positive and you're trying to stay in that good state, your emotion that you've repressed in your body will just draw you back to that low vibrational frequency. And that's exactly the pathway you want to take to heal and to express emotion and to draw those positive life experiences to you. So the very path you want to take is to go into the emotion and to feel through it until it's expressed. And as you do express that emotion and heal it and feel through it and have it leave your body and your mind, you will have the law of attraction kind of working for you, if that makes sense. It's always working, but you will have it bringing you situations that you do want in your life. And I think that's probably the most important thing about this emotional healing is it's not only creating healing in your body and mind, but in your outer world, it will be drawing to you experiences that you truly desire. And at its base, that's much more impactful than trying to sit above the emotion and say positive and think positive things and say affirmations and try to bring about what you want. But you can't do that when all this emotion is repressed within you, because that's what's creating the vibration that you're oscillating at. That's your law of attraction at work. So in healing that and in raising your vibration, you will create more positive life experiences. And emotions that are repressed in your mind and body will also create etheric cords. So these are cords that you can't see physically, but they're on an energetic level. As you repress emotion within you, you will experience cords attaching to people or objects or places, and these can draw your attention to those things, or they can create dysfunction in terms of those things. And as you heal emotionally, the expression of emotion naturally dissolves and releases those cords. So you'll experience more freedom on an energetic level, because you won't be connected etherically to too much stuff. You don't need to worry about cutting cords necessarily. That's only to if you're in a situation where there's a really thick big cord between you and someone else, or between you and an object or a place, and you feel like it's overwhelming you. That's when you cut cords. But this practice of emotional healing is necessarily around being able to naturally release those cords. And as you do that, you'll experience more freedom and less kind of attachment to things. And attachment is a very kind of important thing in mental and emotional health. If you've got attachments, those attachments which are connected through etheric cords will draw you into those situations or towards those people, or it will create the attachment that kind of creates need within your body and mind and soul. And so what you'll want to do through this process of emotional healing is to be able to naturally release those etheric cords as you heal and express emotion. And as you do this emotional healing, you will notice that attachments will release from you, and they'll release from your mind as well. So this is the path to non-attachment. This is the path towards being free of the need to have things in your life that are negative and binding. And as you release the attachment, you may still have that thing in your life, but what will happen is that it won't create a state of lust for it. It won't create a state of needing to have that thing to fulfill you. As you move towards non-attachment, your fulfillment will simply be in your being. It will be who you are. And if you do cut cords, there's a good chance that they're likely to reattach anyway, because you still have that emotional energy within you that's creating the connection to that etheric cord. So you can cut cords, but there's no real use in doing that if the underlying emotion that's creating that cord and that attachment is still there. So basically what you'll want to do is release the emotion, and then you will naturally just release the cords, and they'll be gone for good as you release the emotion. Once you release a certain layer of emotion, the emotion doesn't come back. The only reason you have emotion or overwhelm of emotion or any state of emotional attachment is because the emotion is within your mind and body. The difference between feelings and emotions is that feelings are the language of the soul. So what you are feeling is your soul resonating with your current life experience. So your physical reality, your current incarnation. Whether you're making good choices or bad choices, and the level of feeling or the flavor of feeling that you have is based around your soul speaking the language to you, communicating to you of whether you're following your soul or not. Emotions, on the other hand, emotions are energy in motion. They are of the body, and the difference between feelings and emotions, it can get tricky to identify which are feelings and which are emotions, especially if you have a lot of repressed emotion. But generally, you'll be able to differentiate between the two by noticing that out of these 10 emotions that I'm going to talk about, that as you become more experienced and knowledgeable about what the emotions feel like, you'll be able to notice when you're repressing an emotion or feeling an emotion, and when your soul is communicating to you in your current experience through how you feel about your life and about yourself. And being able to differentiate between the two, it's something like you'll notice that if your soul is feeling good and like you're on track in your life, there's this certain like this certain level of like it's on, like your soul is saying hi to you. It's raising its hands and saying, hey, I'm here. And as you move towards more states of feeling good, you'll notice that your soul is saying hi to you more often. And in terms of emotional, the energy in motion that's in your body and mind, this is what can help you move your trajectory in life towards a more more closeness to your soul. Because as you're releasing and moving out emotion within you, you'll move into a higher vibration, and you'll be able to notice when your soul is there saying hi to you and saying, this is what I came here for. This is why I'm here. And as you move to higher levels of vibration, you'll experience more closeness to who you truly are. So as you clear out all that kind of internal baggage and everything that's holding you back from feeling good and from living your life, fulfilling your life purpose, you'll be able to notice those points at which you have the soul showing up more often in your life. So as you raise your vibration and you move more into communication with your soul, your true essence, you'll be able to connect and communicate with your soul without anything in the way. So if you're carrying all that internal baggage, it makes it hard to notice when your soul is there saying hi. And you'll be able to free yourself of the limitations of attachment to the outer world. And as you do that, you'll notice that you are more in touch with who you are on a soul level. And in that, as you raise your vibration, you'll create more positive life experiences for yourself, and you'll move into your true soul expression in this lifetime and the fulfillment of why you came here to experience physical reality. So what are the 10 emotions? Well, there's 5 natural emotions. 5 natural emotions, which we count on our hands. And 5 learned emotions, which I also count on my hands. You can use your hands to remember the emotions. The left hand is the natural emotions, the 5 natural emotions. And these come from the book Conversations with God. I think it's book 2 that he talks about these emotions. And then there's the 5 learned emotions. So we'll go through the 5 natural emotions first. And beginning with the thumb, these are the emotions that I've mapped out based on reading the Conversation with God material, and then also of adding the 5 learned emotions to create the 10 emotions. And these emotions are the 10 kind of core emotions that everyone has, and all other emotions are kind of variations of these 10 emotions. So frustration can be a variation of anger. Disgust can be a variation of guilt or shame. So these 10 core emotions are the fundamental 10 that you need to remember. And any other emotions that you're feeling that aren't in these 10 emotions are variations of these 10. So starting with the left hand, the first emotion on the thumb is love. This is connected to the air element, so the element of air. You can think of like prana or chi, the breath. Love is imbued into the universe. So love is basically, we're breathing love. Love is all there is. So there's love. And the next one is grief on the first finger. Grief is crying, letting go. Grief is the emotion that helps us let go. And as we grieve, we literally shed tears. And the element connected with grief is water. The next emotion is envy. Envy is connected to earth or wood. And envy is the emotion that has you want something that someone else has. So you might see someone driving a Ferrari and you have that experience of wanting a Ferrari for some reason. You might feel like it's a good car for you, and there's that general sense of like, oh, I want that. I want to experience that. The next emotion of the natural emotions is anger, and anger is connected with the fire element. And anger is the energy or the emotion that has you say no. It's the kind of putting a boundary in place, or this is not for me. I don't want this. That's anger. The next emotion of the five emotions on the pinky is fear. And fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is not real. Fear is the opposite of love. When life or God created existence, because God is love, God had to create something that was other than love, the exact opposite of love. And so very carefully God created fear. And that's why fear is false evidence appearing real. It's something that appears real to you, but it's not in reality real. Love is real. Love is what is true. And anger is fear expressed as well. So if you have a lot of anger, you might also want to look at any fear that you have repressed in your system. And fear is the element of metal. So these are kind of aligned with the five elements of Chinese medicine. So we've got love, grief, envy, anger, and fear. And these five natural emotions can be repressed. So if you're repressing a certain natural emotion enough, it will start to move into the repressed version of that emotion, and it will cause more dysfunction for you in your mind and body and in your life. So if you've got any of these natural emotions repressed, and that is creating your life experience, you'll want to look at like doing emotional healing so you can heal and express that repressed emotion, so you can move back to your natural emotional state. And so the repressed versions of the five natural emotions, love is possessiveness. So it's kind of like possessiveness is like wanting to control someone, or being very focused on your personal possessions, and kind of to the point where it's like you want to control that thing. You want to possess it. That's possession. Possessiveness, sorry. That's possessiveness. Love repressed is possessiveness. And for me, when I kind of went into my possessiveness as I was doing my emotional healing, I noticed it was a very kind of weird or strange feeling that I'd not really felt before. I never really knew that was the possessiveness that was within me. It was a very kind of it was something I'd not felt before, and that's why it was kind of odd for me to feel it. And as I kind of adjusted and adapted and realized, oh, that's just my possessiveness, then I was able to connect to that emotion and begin to feel through it, and have it move back into just love. So the next one along, grief repressed is depression. So if you're repressing your grief, if you're holding in your tears, if you're not crying and releasing and grieving, that will begin to create depression within you. I went through depression in high school, when I was about 16, I entered a very deep state of depression before I had my first psychotic episode. And basically, I was repressing my grief. I was listening to the Smashing Pumpkins a lot, and Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, and I was a teenager, so I was kind of getting into the sadness, and I eventually created depression within myself because I was repressing my grief and kind of being too arty with it, I guess. And yeah, so grief repressed is depression. If you have depression, it's because you're repressing grief. And there's been a lot of like men recently in our modern world who have depression. Um, I'm not sure of the statistics, but because like you can see through the social conditioning that like men have been taught not to express their emotion and not to cry, and it's only really been in the last maybe like 10, 20 years, 30 maybe more, that it's becoming more okay for men to express their grief and to be in touch with their emotions. And then I assume the levels of men with depression is lowering because they're being able to grieve and express that depression into grief, and they're healing themselves on the emotional level. The next repressed emotion of the five natural emotions is jealousy. So jealousy is envy repressed, and jealousy is um, it's kind of, it can be like you see something that you want, and it's like there's a sense of like if I can't have that thing, no one can, or something. Like you think of people who are jealous over their partners. They're very controlling and kind of maybe paranoid and and kind of stressed out about their partner because they repressed their envy, and it's turning up as jealousy in a relationship. And I found when I first started to go into my emotions, jealousy was one of the first things that came up for me. And I had just recently ended a relationship at the time, and I remember just the amount of jealousy I had over that person because I couldn't be with her. The emotion I had was just this kind of like, if I can't have her, no one can. And it was a it was pretty intense, and it's pretty wild. Jealousy can be pretty wild, I think. Yeah, it's a pretty wild emotion to have, because you're like trying to control things and you're trying to get what you want. Like envy is wanting something naturally, but like jealousy is that wildness of like wanting it so much that you like kind of do anything to have it. Um, so yeah, that's a pretty crazy emotion there. And then so uh, the next repressed emotion of the five natural emotions is rage. So remember, this one is anger. So anger repressed is rage. And rage can also be quite like the element of anger is fire. So rage can be like a raging fire within you that kind of that wanting to say no on such a level that it's like it's it's overwhelming, and it's like people like lash out and kind of lose control of themselves when they're in this state of rage. They're so kind of repressed emotionally. They've repressed anger so much that it's like they just go into a state of kind of um, like lashing out at people and and of wanting to express it so much with their body. And rage for me, when I was feeling through rage myself, I would sit very still, lay very still, and just really just feel it deeply. And I think there's also room for in emotional expression, um, in terms of anger and rage, of like using your body forcefully to express it. So like hitting a pillow or like hitting a bed or something. And I suggest being very mindful of karma when you're doing like emotional healing, and if emotions come up for you, you don't want to take your emotions out on other people at all. That just creates bad karma. And so yeah, so being mindful of when you are wanting to express rage or anger, and of having a safe space to do that as well. So that could mean like, I don't know, like getting your pillow and hitting it and just like grah, like expressing it, but in a safe manner that no one gets hurt. And so the last repressed emotion of the five natural emotions, repressed fear, is panic. And this can be why people have panic attacks. They've repressed fear so much that the fear is coming up out of them as panic. They've repressed the fear so much into panic that the panic is trying to come up and out. And I went through panic attacks. I've been through many panic attacks in my life, and it was a massive journey for me to move through these states of panic, and to like feel through while I'm going through a panic attack. And it was terrifying. Like facing my fear was terrifying. And it's only now, after having been through that I realized that like all I did was I just repressed fear. That's all. And it was like the most intense things I've ever been through in terms of emotions. Like just being so full of fear that like you can't, you're just on the edge of your seat, on the edge of your reality, like going, oh my god. And so yeah, so if you notice panic in your system, that's a good indication that you've been repressing fear. So they're the five natural emotions on the left hand: love, grief, envy, anger, and fear. Now on the right hand, these are the learned emotions, and these are emotions that I just realized that I had, and that kind of cross over to everyone else on the planet. And I call them the learned emotions because they are purely social conditioning. They're purely taught to us through our teachers, our parents, sometimes our friends. It's all based on societal conditioning. And basically, they're not natural emotions that we're born with. We're only born with two emotions, and that's fear of falling and fear of loud noises. And that's so there's more caution for us when we're growing up. And they're the only kind of emotions that we're born with. All other emotions are the natural ones, and if you repress those, they cause the dysfunction. But the learned emotions are those that have been taught to us by our society. And these are the emotions that you've been taught to feel about yourself, and they're not at all natural. They're kind of what leads to more inhibition of who you are. So the first of the five learned emotions is nervousness. And nervousness is kind of the bridge between the natural emotions and the learned emotions. Nervousness can kind of, like, you can kind of see it as a natural emotion. It just comes up when you're confronted with an experience you're not ready for or you're not used to. But what I've noticed is that nervousness, like if you repress it, when a situation comes up for you that brings it out, it will come out like in that moment. Like you're about to do public speaking, or you're about to talk to that girl, ask her on a date or something, and it just comes up and out. And it's kind of like a kind of it's kind of natural in a way. Like it's like a it's a physical reaction that you have, but it's also something you can feel through. And the opposite state of nervousness is calm. So the next of the learned emotions is anxiety. And anxiety is, for me, like along with fear, anxiety was the most intense emotion I've had to face and had to feel through. I went through a whole year of being in very intense anxiety, and I know certain people who are kind of stuck in this state of anxiety and they can't move through it. I was very lucky that I knew how to move through this emotion, and it took about a year for me to get through it. Um, and basically, yeah, it was just so intense, super intense. Um, and anxiety is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like fear and panic and this kind of sense of like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's 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 something that like people can get stuck in, I think, because they're so afraid to feel and to move through it. And anxiety, moving through anxiety is what will get you through that experience and out of that experience. The What's that song by Alanis Morissette? The only way out is through. And that's a very kind of good understanding to have of emotional healing. Is the only way out of the emotion is to go through it, and as you feel through, you'll heal through. That's the kind of quote I made um, around this practice, that as you're feeling through the emotion, you'll heal through and move into your fullness of expression. So anxiety, the opposite state of anxiety is peace. The next of the five learned emotions is guilt. And guilt is like um, you're not allowed to have something that you want. Like, and if you do have it, you're meant to feel guilty. You're not meant to feel good about having this thing, whether it's like an ice cream or I don't know, like money or something. You're not meant to feel good about having it, and like that's just something that's been taught to you. The opposite state of guilt is conscience, and conscience is like being able to think clearly and being able to understand that you're allowed to have what you want. The next of the five learned emotions is shame. And shame is, I believe shame is purely kind of around sexuality. And it's like you're not meant to feel good about your sexuality and what you want sexually. There's a lot of like societal conditioning around sexuality, and I believe that's what shame is. That's Shame is like the emotion of like you're not allowed to have this. It's slightly different from guilt, but it's like you're not allowed to have your sexual expression. And the opposite state of shame is sexual freedom. The last of the five learned emotions is hate. And hate is a very destructive emotion. It can really, if you're entertaining hate or being hateful and like, and repressing it as well, it will kind of be very destructive for the mind and body. And I suggest if you are entertaining hate, just to stop immediately and kind of move forward from that, because it will get very deeply embedded into your body and your mind, and it can be very hard to release this emotion because it's so kind of destructive. um, and and as we talk about how this practice works in a moment, the specifically with hate, along with feeling through the emotion, you'll want to love through the emotion. So you'll want to use love as a kind of tool to help uh, unembed the emotion and be able to release it. Um, yeah, and just kind of be very kind of mindful of any form of hating, because it's very destructive for you. And the opposite state of hate is compassion. So compassion is a very uh, good state to have. Like it's a very empathic and a very kind of virtuous state to be in. And just finally, a word on love and fear. So, love and fear are the prime polarity, the primal duality of the universe or of existence. Um, and every moment in your life, you are choosing between love and fear. Love lets go, fear holds on. Love holds dear, fear holds close. Love embraces, fear clings. So you can kind of determine when you're choosing between love and fear in life by knowing the difference between love and fear, especially in terms of how you approach a situation or kind of what you're choosing in the moments of your life. What you fear, you'll draw to you, you'll attract what you fear. And that's going back to the law of attraction, that you're drawing towards you these life experiences so you can release the emotion and move to higher levels of spiritual advancement. And once you express and release a certain layer of emotion, it's gone from your system. So you don't have to worry about kind of returning to emotions that you've felt through. You can rest easy knowing that um, that once you express an emotion, it's out of your system for good. So before I teach the practice that I use to feel through the 10 emotions, I'd like to address a few things about this practice. And these are just things to look out for when you're going deep into your emotions. And the first is overwhelm. So if you're going deep into your emotions and expressing them, you can sometimes hit the sweet spot and then all this emotion will come up and out of you. And as that's happening, you might get overwhelmed by it. I certainly know that I've been through states of being very overwhelmed by my emotions, and as I was feeling through and doing this inner work, I was confronted with the depth of emotion that I had repressed within me, and it had become overwhelming at one point. Um, and if you've been through trauma or if you're deeply repressed in any of these 10 emotions, you may encounter overwhelm. And I highly suggest looking before you start this process of like going into your emotions. I suggest you set up a support network around you of people who you can contact if you do go into overwhelm. So that could be friends or family or professionals like psychotherapists or counselors or something. Just make sure you've got that support network ready. If you are um, if you do go into that state of being overwhelmed by the emotions that you've repressed, and as they're coming up and out, you might need to have someone you can talk to about what you've been through, or to help you just move through that emotional expression until the emotion's gone from your system. Some emotions may be more challenging than others to feel through. So for me, I think there were three main emotions that I really struggled with, and that was fear, shame, and anxiety. And these three were like the really deeply repressed, and they were the ones that I had the most challenge with as I was doing this work. Um, and then like there's other emotions that you might be able to easily express. And like for me, that was like grief, anger, and jealousy was reasonably kind of in the middle there. But like these these emotions can either be challenging or easy or somewhere in the middle, and you'll want to kind of notice, just notice if you're kind of struggling with a certain emotion. You might need some more help to kind of work through it. And the only reason an emotion will be more challenging is that you've had more conditioning from society to repress it, and that just comes from what you've been through, I guess, and what you've been taught to repress. Like you can have some like conditioning from family or from school, and you might be able to notice that some emotions are more challenging for you to work through, whereas others can be really easy for you to release and express. So just be mindful of that. And undoing that teaching is that teaching of emotional repression, of not feeling safe or allowed to express your emotions. That that is undone by simply feeling through the emotion. So as you do this practice of feeling through, you'll notice that the societal conditioning will be undone as you feel through the emotion. Also, when you're doing this practice of emotional healing, make sure you're in a safe space. I like to lay in bed when I'm doing this practice because I feel very safe in bed. And you'll want to either be laying down or sitting. You don't want to be walking while you're feeling through your emotions. You don't want to be driving a car or operating heavy machinery. You want to be in a space where you can really just sit with yourself and just be with yourself and feel the emotion. You can also do this emotion in public. Just make sure you're sitting somewhere or laying down somewhere, because there's like a difference between being at home by yourself, and being out in public. There might be different emotions that come up when you're out in public. So you can do this practice like if you're sitting on a bus. There might be different emotions that come up when you're around people, as opposed to when you're by yourself. Yeah, and just remember that what you feel through, you heal through. So this practice of feeling through will create the healing. The process of feeling through is a 3-step process, and these 3 steps are observe. The first step, observe. The second step is connect. And the third step is feel through. So the first step of observe is to observe the emotion you're feeling. And if you're not feeling any emotion, it might be that the emotion is just under the surface. Kind of, you might have to just tune into your body and go within and kind of explore within and look to see where that emotion is, and that next emotion that wants to come up and out. And you can ask yourself in this stage of the 3-step process is, where in my body am I feeling tension? Or where in my body am I feeling this emotion? And you'll want to look to the body. The body is where you have access to your emotions. And through access to your emotion, that's how you can heal and release them. The next emotion to feel, like if you're doing this practice, then the next emotion that you're wanting to feel it will be just right under the surface there for you to feel and to bring up and out and to express. Any tension in the body is where emotion is stored. So as you feel through the tension, you'll notice that it starts to bring up the emotion, and that's when you can start to sit or lay down and begin to express it. And I will say that it can take some time. This is a slow process, but if you do this, you can do it for hours on end if you want. You can do it for a short time, and you can do it at any time if you want as well, just by sitting or laying down and going within, observing which of these 10 emotions am I feeling right now, and to identify which emotion you're feeling. So being able to know, oh, okay, I'm feeling rage right now. It might that the subtlety may be as simple as you think you're feeling anger, but you're actually feeling rage, and you want to connect to that rage and feel it. And connect is the next step. So once you've observed what emotion you're feeling, you want to connect to that emotion. However you do that, it's emotion is on an inner level in the body. So as you connect to the emotion, you'll want to uh, just kind of acknowledge it. And this is so you can access it, and so you can feel through it. So you observe what emotion you're feeling, you connect to the emotion, and the third step is to feel through the emotion. And this is where the magic happens. This is where you have the deep catharsis, and you have the emotional release, and the tears, and the hitting the pillow, or the intense states of anxiety if you're going through that. Um, but, you'll want to sit there or lay there and feel through the emotion until a layer of it has been expressed. You can kind of liken this to like if you're crying and you're crying to the point where you kind of finish crying and you kind of it's out of you, it's gone. You might even laugh a bit after you've cried, but just noticing that movement and that rhythm of how the emotion is expressed. So if you think about it, if you've ever like teared up and if you just cried about something, you'll get to the point where it's like there's no more crying to be done. There's no more tears, and that's very similar to how you express a layer of emotion. So you'll go through the emotion, you'll feel through it, and to the point where you'll notice that it's out of you now. It's not. It's kind of it's been released, and you can kind of notice those moments, and they're good points to either like stop the practice and continue on with your day, or if you want to, you can continue going deeper within. But just noticing those points at which you feel like the emotions, that layer of emotion has been expressed, that's where you can kind of end the practice if you want to. But give yourself like a few hours at least, and that will allow you enough time to kind of get through the practice. Because if you're in the middle of feeling through an emotion and you have to go and do something, it can make that next experience very difficult for you because you're in the middle of feeling through an emotion. So make sure you can begin and complete a layer of emotional healing and expression before you go and do something. Now, as you're feeling through, don't go into the story. Don't go into the mind. Do not entertain the whole scenario of why you have repressed an emotion. That will only get in the way. If you're going into the mind, your mind will just be doing backflips and and try to kind of entertain you with its own kind of insanity. So basically, what you want to do is just leave the mind out of the process, and just go fully into the feeling of the emotion. There's no need to really go into the story of why it happened to you or how it happened or like what your life has been like since. There is a place for that. And I did do psychotherapy for a year with a very amazing woman, and she said I was the most successful client she'd ever had, and that's because as I was talking about my past traumas, I was focused on feeling the emotion, and that focus on feeling the emotion is what brought the healing so quickly and so deeply. And the talking was just so I could access the emotion. So there is a place for going into the story of it, but I don't suggest you do that as a first call of how to feel through. Simply feel the emotion, and once you've released a layer of emotion, your mind will instantly integrate into a new level of thinking, and that will mean that you have resolved the emotion and also how it was being uh, like created by the mind, if that makes sense. So like as you release an emotion, your the story that you have around that emotion will clear, and your mind will integrate into a new way of thinking, and you'll want to feel through the emotion. So keep feeling, keep expressing, um, keep allowing the emotion to be pushed out of you, and that's where this practice will serve you the most, if you're feeling through the emotion to the other side of the emotion. Something else that can help you with this 3 step process is to know that it's okay to have emotions, that it's okay to express emotions, and that it's safe to express emotions. This feeling of safety is very important for this kind of healing. You'll notice that the more safe you feel to express an emotion, the easier it is to express it. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be shameful. It's okay to have these emotions. They're just emotions. They're just energy that you've repressed within your body and your mind, and you're just getting them out. And basically, what you'll want to do is just to be authentic with yourself and to just be like, okay, I have been repressing this for a long time, maybe, and now it's time to release it. And you'll see that the more you do this practice of feeling through, the more you'll understand that it's safe to feel through your emotions, and giving yourself permission to feel through them and allowing yourself to feel them and to feel them fully, and to almost like indulge in feeling them. I think a great part of the societal conditioning we've had is that when we've been taught not to indulge our emotions, and indulging your emotions is basically what this practice is. It's indulging them to the point that you express them. And in doing this practice, going deeper into your body, you'll start to heal on a cellular level. I noticed the more I released emotion, the more I was getting more in touch with my body. Like I could feel parts of my body kind of and have access to them as my physiology. So uh, because the emotions are stored in the body when you repress them, when you release them, you'll start to be able to feel more of your body, and you'll be able to become more present to life. You won't be kind of stuck in the mind and kind of thinking all this stuff and not present to who you are and what your life is. You'll notice that the more you are feeling through the emotions, the more you'll access states of feeling of your body. And that can be a good step towards being more present in your life. And it took me about 12 years, probably, I'd say like 10 to 11 years of just feeling my emotions. As I said, I was very repressed emotionally. And then the last year or so, it's been accessing, like feeling in my body, and then literally feeling through emotions on a cellular level in my body. And this is what leads to physical and mental health, is releasing these stored emotions to the point that you're becoming so present that you're aware of your body, and like the internal of your body, like your skeleton, your organs, and really just getting to that state of presence in your life. And also, on the other side of that, if you're feeling numb, if you can't feel emotion, that's where you start to you feel the numbness. I remember when I was first starting with this practice that I was in a state of numbness to my emotions, and it's feeling that numbness that will start to open up the emotional realm, I guess. So if you are feeling numb, just feel that numbness, and that will start to shift the energy. And that is when you can start to access, like as you feel through the numbness and it starts to become an identifiable emotion, that's when you begin to open up to your emotions if you are like in a state of numbness emotionally or physically. All healing modalities are based upon the movement of energy. And emotional healing is really just the movement of energy from within you to without of you expressing it. Your energy in motion, your emotion will begin to express as you feel through it. And um, this is something you don't need to pay for. You don't need to go and see someone else to do this practice. You can simply do it on your own. The only time you will want to see a professional is if you're having overwhelm, or if you want some certain kind of treatment for anything that is going on for you. But all modalities at their core are simply the movement of energy, and feeling your emotions, your energy in motion is simply the movement of energy. If you're going through any intense emotions like jealousy, rage, panic, anxiety, the key is to feel. And that can be really intense. I know, I've been through it. Um, that can be like the most intense thing you've ever been through, possibly. But the way out and the way through and out of that is to feel as you're going through those states. um, and the smallest amount of emotion that you have repressed within you can cause like chaos in your life. I've noticed as I was doing this practice that even the smallest amount of repressed emotion that was within me was, as I felt through it and released it, it would change my outer life situations and the circumstances of my life. And it's it's a good idea to be aware of that even a very small amount of repressed emotion can kind of cause chaos or bring you unwanted situations. And that is just the law of attraction, bringing you life experiences so you can express the emotion. This practice will also clear limiting beliefs. So, as I've said, as you release a layer of emotion, your mind will instantly integrate. And that means that limiting beliefs that you do have will be cleared out quite instantly after you release a certain layer of emotion. The way to new ways of thinking is through releasing emotions. So if you are or do have a lot of negative thinking or chaotic thinking, accessing your emotion and releasing the emotion is what will change your mental state. And the adjustments can be quite subtle depending on how much emotion you're releasing. If you're releasing a lot of emotion, you can notice that your mind integrates after you have released that emotion. But it's it's a slow process. Like this process, it took me 12 years of almost daily constant feeling through to get to where I am now. So just be mindful that it's not like a quick fix. Like a quick fix is like eating an ice cream or or doing drugs. You know, they're things that you can do in the moment quickly to make you feel good, but they seem to have repercussions. Um, this practice, although it may be slow, it will eventually get you to states of feeling good. And for me, the last like maybe 2 years, I've started to enter into deeper states of ecstasy and bliss as my natural state of feeling. Um, there's a quote by Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, which says, "There is no happiness higher than tranquility." And that is a state that you can attain. You can attain that state of tranquility emotionally through expressing and feeling through enough emotion that you are able to be clear of the emotion, and your natural state is tranquility. Your natural state is ecstasy and bliss. It is feeling good. And you'll also want to be aware of exhaustion. So feeling through your emotions every day, all day for years, like even doing this practice for a short while can exhaust you. So it's a good idea to make time for rest and to have um, that time for your body and mind to adjust. And you'll notice that in terms of like chi, when you're moving your body, chi is being exerted from your body. Chi is life energy. So when you're sitting still or laying down, your chi, the chi kind of starts being absorbed by the body, and in that it gives you more energy. So that's kind of like a simple understanding of this process. So like if you're expressing a lot of emotion, um, although you may not be moving your body, you're moving a lot of your emotional energy out of you, and that just creates a state of kind of feeling tired. So a good idea whilst doing this process is to allow like time where you can just rest. And I found that was really important for my physical and mental health as I was doing this practice. And you'll also want to have balance in your life while doing this. You'll want to eat healthy, exercise when you can, um, focus on building and maintaining good relationships with people. All these things can contribute to you feeling good. And like on a side note, like looking at diet, looking at what you're eating, that can be very important to how you're feeling as well. So addressing like eating organic foods and eating the kind of highest quality foods you can, um, and also like building strength within the body as well. So diet, exercise, make sure you're getting good sleep, and make sure that you're creating positive and fulfilling relationships with people as well. And look to where you have repressed emotion within you. If you're feeling fear, if you're feeling fear of death, that is fear that you've repressed within your system. You can release your fear of death by feeling through your fear of death. If you have jealousy over a partner, that is repressed envy, that is jealousy that is there in your system. If you want to resolve that jealousy, feel through the jealousy, and and feel through it until it becomes envy again. If you're feeling shameful about something in your life, about yourself, about your physical body, feel through that shame, and that will resolve that, and you'll start to have more freedom of expression within yourself. The reason you have these emotions is because you've repressed them. As you release them, you will feel more free. And there's nothing more potent in life than being able to fulfill why you came here and the purpose of your life. This is simply a kind of foundational level of supporting that fulfillment of life purpose. There are methods of physical healing that can be done through this as well. A book that I like is called The Journey by Brandon Bays. And that book talks about expressing emotion in order to heal physical illness. And you'll notice that as you repress emotion in your body, you'll your body will have a reaction to that repression, and it will create physical illness. As you express and release emotion, you will free yourself of the that energy in motion that is sitting in your body that is causing dysfunction in the body. The greatest way to heal yourself physically can be emotional healing. That being said, there are like modern medicine is good now. There's a lot that we can do to heal physical illness, but along with, I'd say, diet, sleep, and exercise, you'll want to look at your emotions and be able to heal those. And that book by Brandon Bayes is a very good document of how people can heal themselves physically through emotional healing. And as you go deeper into this practice, you'll notice that you are releasing emotions from the body, from various parts of the body. You can go into those, like into your organs, into specific parts of the body and feel through the organs. And through this practice of observing, connecting, and feeling through, you can heal yourself physically by like connecting to a certain part of the body and expressing whatever of the 10 emotions have been repressed within the body, and in that you will heal that part of your body. That's kind of the power of this practice as well, not only for the mind but for the body. There are other levels of healing as well. You can look at your energy, your chakras. There's like infinite ways to heal yourself. There's also practices that can be done with the mind that have you go out of your mind, out of the constant thinking or worrying or the cycles of thought. I generally am drawn to Buddhism for that. Zen Buddhism. That seems to be they figured out how to help you get out of your mind and more into the body and into the moment. So this isn't the like kind of be all and end all. This is kind of a very kind of foundational aspect of the path of moving forward. But there are other things that you can incorporate as well into your life that will help you to move forward. Just in terms of emotional healing and the mind integrating, I noticed that even though I had done so much emotional healing, the mind, although it was becoming more free and more positive and more easy for me to traverse, I did notice that I still had to focus on like Zen philosophy in order to free myself of the mind. So that's an important aspect of this as well, I think, of attaining that level of liberation. Well, that's it. If you need any support or you'd like to have any input, just leave a comment. And if you'd like to do any coaching with me at all around these emotions and around emotional healing and diet, exercise, sleep, and getting out of the mind and more into the body, feel free to click on my landing page, which I'll leave in the description for this video. And I'm definitely here to help and support you if you need it. So I hope you found this helpful, and I wish you all the best.